there's always been a debate in hip hop as to what the top 10, the top 5, and even the top 3 albums are of all time. But there's always been one at the summit of everyone's conversation for the last 3 decades.
100%.
Today, we're going to be reviewing on Loki Loud, Illmatic by Nas.
Yes, today we're going to be getting into the legendary Illmatic by Nas, bro. Before we get straight into the track list breakdown, can you give me your overall thoughts on the album for me?
It's one that, you know what, I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's one of the most legendary albums in music history. I think it's a landmark. It really is. You know, I always remember having a conversation with someone about this album, and they sort of said, there's hip hop after Illmatic, and there's hip hop before Illmatic.
100%.
You know, there may have been a couple of times you have better albums since, but there was nothing better before it. This was the best ever at its time, and it allowed the gateway to open for all the rap we know today.
100%.
I'll never forget that. So that's what I'm saying.
100%, man. I mean, I couldn't agree more. It's a pinpoint in history of rap and hip hop, and for me, this is my first time listening to the album, like full stop. I know you've
I've listened to the album plenty of times, yeah.
And so as a first time listener, bro, this was really, really cool and interesting to get into. And first impressions for me was that, I mean, it was really weird to me how many similarities I could draw to Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. But this, just purely with the sense, obviously it's a different location. You know, obviously you got West Coast here and East Coast.
I listened to that for a video as well. It was my first album review.
And I got the wrong way around. So this is East Coast, West Coast is Kendrick Lamar. But obviously the way he dives into the lifestyle of New York and his surroundings, his struggles, his passions, you know, everything about him and his environment, bro. It's so reminiscent of Good Kid, Mad City, and the way Kendrick breaks that down.
It's about him and his community and his environment, and I think
100%.
I think the songs represent that so well.
So that's what I took from it from overall 100%. It's up there on that level.
It's 100%. It's legendary status. It's always going to be one of the greats. Like we always do, guys, we're just going to break down the track list. Now, this has got an actual intro instead of an actual song to introduce it.
Yep.
So the Genesis is a very eerie intro. I think it sets the tone very well.
100%.
I think AZ from Life's a Bitch is on here as well.
Oh, in the second part, yeah,
the second guy talking to him. I think it
sounds like him anyway.
Sets the tone of Illmatic really well. It's not a particularly long album, so it only adds, less than 2 minutes to the time.
It's very, very cool intro, very fitting. Like you said, it sets the tone perfectly. I really like, especially the first guy that comes in there, makes it sound like a 1970s like mafia movie. It's really cool. And again, nothing melodical, nothing musical really here. Just basically a scene.
It's setting the vibe, isn't it? It's setting the scene for the album. All right, so on to the first track of the album. We have New York State of Mind now.
Yes, sir.
This is obviously one of the most highly regarded songs in rap history. Arguably the greatest rap song of all time. I think it deserves all the accolades it gets, to be honest.
100%.
I think from a rapping performance perspective, it's absolutely out of this world. It's nearly 5 minutes of straight spitting.
Yep.
Storytelling here, the horrors of New York and how things are getting worse. He's noticing children picking up weapons now and, getting involved in violence. It's a scary picture, man. The hook is quite eerie as well.
100%, yeah.
It's a weird vibe.
Totally agree with that. I mean, it is truly impressive, like the vivid images he paints in your head with just pure lyricism, taking common everyday phrases and just bending the perception on it and making you think of it in a different way and really helping you to put yourself in his environment. And I think that's the thing that he does throughout this entire album, but the best on this song.
I agree. I think it's the best. I think putting yourself in his shoes and his voice command on the track. He's got so much power over the track. And your attention is solely on him throughout the whole thing. You don't lose him for a second. And it's scary imagery on this 100%. Album. It really is. Similar to Good Kid, Mad City, as you sort of compared to earlier, you get an understanding of the environment this guy's growing up in and this guy's living in. And this is real life. This is how he wants his album to be successful, but this is his day-to-day life. This is what he sees every single day. 100%. And that's the state of mind that it's put him in. I think... is it necessarily my personal favorite on the album? I don't know. We'll have a think and we'll come back to it at the end. But
the beat tones it down a little bit for me. I feel like it's a little bit simple, but doesn't mean to say that it's not a hard beat. It's a really nice beat.
It's one of my favorite instrumentals of all time. I think it goes really hard. I think again it's quite an eerie feel, as I think the rest of that album has. I think it's quite a complicated sample flip. I think it's quite an impressive beat. One of DJ Premier's.
Yeah, you got to give us flowers where you can.
First, the big ones. So yeah, it's my state of mind, and everyone,
there you go.
Everyone's already said it. We've just added to it. But next up, we've got Life's a Bitch. We've got featuring AZ on this one, which obviously is the big feature. I think it's the best feature on the album. I think he absolutely dominates Nas on this, and no disrespect to Nas's performance here, but I think he really steals the show. You think that the hook for how for how dark it is and how what the song's saying.
Yeah,
it's very upbeat.
It's very true, and to be honest, that is the word I would use. Is that more? A lot of because some people say that he out raps Nas on here, but AC I think is just more dominant on the song.
Yeah, that makes it sound like
hook.
Nas is having a poor performance. And
He's not true. Though. But I mean, this is a great song. It's a beautiful instrumental, and I love the concept here. You've got the voice of like despair from AZ who's saying like, well, you know what, life's terrible. You're gonna die at some point. Yeah. I'm gonna get high if I want to. I'm gonna go rob the store if I want to. I'm gonna go, do whatever it is that he feels is bad but necessary to feel okay in his position in his life. And then you got a juxtaposition with Nas where he's the voice of hope, and he's like, well, no, you know what? I've got a lot of aspirations for my life, and I'm going to do what I want to, and I'm going to try my hardest at it.
100%, man. It's a nice really conversation between the two of them.
Yeah, it's a great concept, and a really, really an important topic for people to, instill themselves as a value. So, yeah, perfect song.
100%, man. I don't know if it's the other feature as well. You've got people celebrating it. They just hit their 20th birthday, because that's a landmark, because normally by then the
100%.
homies, one of them been, shot dead or something.
Yep.
It's quite a bleak song, really, but for how jazzy the instrumental is and how catchy the hook is, it's a really interesting contrast, but I think it works really well.
Yep.
I think AZ really steals the show on this one.
Definitely.
100%.
So we're going to move swiftly on to another absolute banger.
Absolute tune.
Which is...
The World Is Yours.
Yes.
The World Is Yours. Now, this is one of the most highly regarded off the album. It's kind of this and NY State of Mind that are sort of in that level. I think there's some unbelievable rap on here considering the length of the song.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are times where I'm like, man, just breathe, just take a breath.
Yeah, bro, it's good. You're cooking hard, like just chill.
Yeah, it's beautiful song lyrically. He's talking to his future children in this one a little bit about what he wants for them and how he wants their life to be different.
Yep.
The hook is just great. The instrumental is quite bubbly as well. Mm-hmm. It's one of, for how sort of dark some of this album can be, it's one of the more uplifting songs.
Yeah, 100%. This is by far my favorite instrumental on the track list. It's really nice, really jazzy, sort of like uplifting sort of beat. And again, the concept is beautiful. Like, just taking the world by his hands and just like making it yours is just. It's so important just to have that positive mindset if you can do anything.
Yeah, for the community he was publishing this album to as well.
Nobody's having that mindset except from him.
It's a much needed message to that community that you can take the world by the bollocks and do it yourself.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I can't say I'm going to The World Is Yours for the instrumental personally. I'm not saying it's bad, but I wouldn't say it's one of the best. It's one of the best in the album, but no, it's one of those songs. It's so widely regarded for a reason, and I think it's brilliant.
100%.
Coming up now, we're at the halfway point of the album. We're at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
So Halftime, this was the first single from this album. This dropped 2 years before the album came out. So the fact that it hits halfway through the album, I think, is a nice coincidence.
Very cool.
I really like Halftime. I think it's the most accessible on the track list.
Okay.
I think you can kind of, I don't know, a bit more simple instrumental, a bit more simple lyrically. Yeah. I think it's more of a bit more just of a tune, if you will, a bit of a banger.
Bit of a bop, yeah.
I don't think there's a straight banger on this album, but I think it's more that vibe than maybe something a little bit deeper or not we've just listened to. And obviously coming up, there's some more deep ones as well. Yeah. I think you got interesting sort of basketball inspired instrumental as well. Very, very New York. I know that Halftime isn't one you're crazy on. I want to hear you.
No, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite track on the playlist, and it's interesting you sort of put that like basketball theme or like concept.
If you think about it, you can hear it.
I can hear it. This always reminded me of like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That was always the theme tune that came to my mind. And to be fair, it's I don't really. I'm not gonna say I don't like the beat. And to be fair, the song is like overall is great. Rap forms is good, and the beat is. It's a good beat, right? The only thing I say is that it's a little bit harsh on my ears. I feel like it's a little bit dissatisfying to listen to sometimes, and that's kind of the only thing I could pick apart from it. And that's probably the worst thing I'm going to say about this entire album, right? That's it. Which is, I mean...
Yeah, I don't know. I think, I suppose, I think, like I said, the lows of this album are going to be so much higher than every other album. But no, I think Halftime really for me is one that I always go back to.
That's fair.
Sometimes I'll see Illmatic just pop up on my recommended in my library, and I'll just put Halftime on and leave because it's so easy to listen to. It really is. And I think for your day to day, the argument I've made with songs before in the past is sometimes a song can be really, really good, but you're not always in the mood to listen to it. That doesn't make it not as good, but it means you're not going to listen to it as much. And I think Halftime, not that there's particularly too much depth on this album in an emotional sense, maybe that you wouldn't listen to it. I think Halftime is really accessible. So that's why I'm going for it there.
Different ears, I guess, So
next up, we got Memory Lane, starting the second half of that album now. Yeah. Now this is just such a lovely beat, and
it's beautiful,
instrumental, man. So nostalgic.
Yeah, they've definitely gone for a very reminiscent vibe to match the theme of the song. Taking you down through his childhood and pointing out all the goods and bads and the highlights and the things that he found cool and bad, and it's interesting to hear the things that you noticed as a child, or well, he may be from a perspective of him as a child, or it maybe not be, but as a child compared to like what a normal child would be, looking out for and remembering. But yeah, aside from that, beautiful concept, amazing rap performance, and the beat is really cool. I like the sort of biblical vibe with the organs on here. It's a nice use.
No, yeah, I think for an instrumental, it really at a point now where you start to understand sort of what the story of Illmatic is, and it really is that he's talking about his people he knows that died, and Nas at this point, he wasn't very old. I think he was in his early 20s.
He's 20. Yeah, he's
20.
He actually started making this album when he was 18, released it when he was 20.
Oh, okay, interesting. So I knew he was in his early 20s. And he's like, for someone that's younger than I am right now, and that's a lot for someone to see. You really start to understand the maturity of someone and the way he's speaking about this and the level his lyricism's on compared to everyone else in the game at this time. I think Memory Lane's a great example of that. Looking back on the past, looking back on people he's lost. It's a very mature outlook for someone so young, and you can see how the streets have toughened him up a lot and sort of brought maybe that worst side out of him. But moving on, we have One Love featuring Q-Tip. Now this one for me is one that's gone up in my estimations massively.
Okay.
I think I was sort of pretty mid on this one, but now this is one of my favorites. I absolutely love it. I think when you start to understand that every single verse is a letter to one of his boys who are in prison.
Is it really?
Yeah, every single verse. So the verses are all different and they all have different meanings as well.
Okay.
Really, really nice instrumental, really, really relaxed instrumental produced by Q-Tip from A Tribe Called Quest. So a little bit different production on this one as well. Absolutely amazing. It just ticks it all for me.
That's very interesting actually, because I actually didn't. This is the point in the album where I start to. It falls off a little bit for me, and for the sole reason being that it loses direction, loses purpose a little bit. Because if you take a look at all the songs we listen to, like The World Is Yours, New York State of Mind, Memory Lane, all these songs have very like distinct themes and directions and what he's trying to portray and stuff like that.
One Love has a good direction as well, though.
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that about the song. That's the thing. So this is kind of a curveball here for me, but that takes this song up levels for me. I mean, that's the part that I thought was lacking the most in the second half of the album. But yeah, I mean, I like One Love. It's the song, the instrumental's not my favorite. It's sort of like mid tier for me, I'd say. And Q-Tip production at this time was obviously amazing. So gotta give it credit where it's due. But it's nice to listen to. And to be fair, I didn't know that, so like my perspective on the song is a little bit different.
One Love's brilliant. And I'll always appreciate any song just trying to do something a bit more creative with how it presents
100%.
itself. I think it gets so many points for that. I think the instrumental is really thought-provoking. I absolutely love One Love. I was really surprised. I never resonated that much with it, to be honest, but I think it's pretty good.
There you go.
Moving on, though, we got One Time For Your Mind. Now, this is probably, I'd say, where I can see your point that some parts of the latter half of the album are a little bit weaker. I think the last 5 are weaker than the first 5.
Yep.
But I think One Time For Your Mind is still a great track. I think there's still some quality rapping on there. Still a pretty quality instrumental as well.
100%.
But I think it does feel. I have no problem with a track being a bit shorter. I think it is the shortest track on the album.
Yeah.
But sometimes it does feel like it's kind of just there to bump it up to 10, and that feels a bit harsh because we've reviewed albums like Culture, and I think this would smash basically everything on Culture. So I'm not saying that it's a bad song, but it's definitely on the weak end for me. I think I'm going to struggle to put this outside the top 3.
That's fair. I mean, it's
at the bottom 3. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was trying to think
outside of the bottom 3.
Yeah, no. I mean, One Time For Your Mind it's a good song. Like I said to you, I enjoyed the rap forms is good. Especially enjoyed the hook on here. Your hook on here is really cool. And a fun fact about that is actually, I mean, they actually got into the studio and they had to be already pre-selected and just went in there. Nas did his whole thing, One Time For Your Mind, and then the feature on here.
So
was
just, alright, so he's like a freestyle.
Yeah, but he just came in with whatever. There's like a little clip which I watched online. It was pretty cool. And after seeing that, it kind of opened my mind up to is like it is a bit more of a free track. It feels like there's less structure, and so maybe that's what I appreciate here. But
yeah, and I think I'm being as harsh on it as I am just because it's Illmatic.
The bar is so high.
The standards are really one of a kind. There's probably only 2 or 3 other albums ever we're going to be talking about a bar like this and how high we're going to set the standard. Sorry, so some tracks are going to have to get shit out a little bit, and I think this is one of them. But I still think it's an excellent track, and I feel similarly about the next one.
Yep.
We have Represent. Now, in theory, for me, so very hype hook, very great instrumental, big fan of it. Rapping performance is quite strong. I just don't quite resonate with it. I'm not sure why. Sometimes a song just doesn't rub you the right way, I guess. But I personally, I'll pick it apart and I think I should like Represent. And I don't think it's bad.
Yeah.
I think it's a great song. Again, it's another example where if you put it on an album that's weaker, it'd floor it.
Yep.
But I just think on this album, it's just not one of my favorites at all.
Yeah.
When it's surrounded by this much quality, I struggle to revisit it as much.
To be honest, the thing for me is, like, this is always the song which people, you know, you go to Illmatic and people are always talking about, oh, Represent, it's amazing, it's amazing.
Yeah, I don't get it.
And so going into it, I was kind of like, okay, this is going to be great. And then I listened to it, I'm like...
Those expectations screw us all sometimes going to a song.
But I do agree with you. The hook here is very cool. And what I will say is, I feel like Nas is the most present and powerful in terms of his voice on this track out of the entire track list.
Can't agree.
That's fair. I mean, to be fair, but it gives me the same sort of vibes as someone like Tupac. He really sort of like dominates. But
I agree.
That might be because
Nas has that quality. Yeah.
And to be honest, it might be because of the instrumental. The instrumental's great. I think it's still mid tier, but like higher mid tier for me. Nothing much I can really say about it, to be honest.
Okay, man. So
maybe a little bit overhyped.
Yeah, you know, before we move on to something else, I just thought, you know, ranking rappers based on their voice power.
Definitely.
Onto the finale of one of the best albums of all time, we have It Ain't Hard to Tell.
Mm-hmm.
And now this, for me, is such an underrated shout. I mean, I get this on and you're like, what's that sound? What's that instrumental? Human Nature, bro. That is so good. I was so shocked when I first listened to this one. I absolutely love this track.
Bro, I feel like this is so underrated. I never hear this talked about.
So criminally underrated, man.
Beautiful instrumental. And I mean, again, rap performance is just phenomenal. And really, I mean, again, really cool concept. It's a bit show-offy. It's a bit sort of like, you know, it's kind of like a finale to it where I feel like he grows up during this album. Would you agree with that?
100%.
I feel like it takes through his, like,
yeah, I think
up.
this song feels, you know, he starts the album off sort of just flat out saying the situation he's in, and he's finishing it. It feels so ahead of his time. The sampling and the work on it ain't hard to tell could have fit in the early 2000s.
I agree, 100%.
Mid 2000s, and it wouldn't have felt, you know, if I saw this come out in 2006, it wouldn't surprise you that much.
No, definitely not.
I think it really feels ahead of its time, and it feels like he's taking that big step into the future, and the progression throughout the album. While I will say the two weakest tracks for me are in the second half of the album. Second half of the album has still got, you know, you still got One Love. Ain't Hard to Tell. So I think it's still incredible. So yeah, I think the progression and how the album finished, I think is so strong.
100%. So finishing off the track list, we're going to be moving on to our top and bottom three. So would you like to give me your bottom of the album?
So I'm just thinking about this. I want to know what you think. But personally for me, I'm saying there's no skips on here for me. No skips on this track list. Before I start saying what's bad, before we start saying what's bottom three, none of them are bad. When I list it on mic, it's 1 to 10. No questions about it.
That's fair. I mean, the only thing that really comes close to a skip for me is Halftime, just because I don't really enjoy the instrumental as much. I'm not gonna say it's a skip, but what I will say about it is going through this album, I've listened to it probably 6, 7, 8 times or something like that. I did not mean to say it like that. I'm sorry. But a couple times I have just sort of like, yeah, I'm gonna move on to the next one because I know what's going on.
If we list it on mic right now, are you skipping Halftime or not?
There's probably like a 70% chance I will.
So it's a skip. Okay, so you're going one skip then.
Okay, if you're going to put the words in my mouth, then you.
70%.
Yeah.
I don't know. Illmatic is a skipless album for me. I'll listen to this all the way through every time. I have no problems with that. So before I've said that, bottom three, bottom spot, I'm going to go One Time for Your Mind.
Okay.
It just doesn't quite feel as polished as the other ones. And when it's an album like this, it is those tiny little polishing hits that make the difference, because the standard's so high. You can be a 10 out of 10 song and be like 9th.
Yeah, 100%.
So
it's not hard.
It's really tough. You could be middle of the pack on this album and be a top 50 rap song.
Yeah,
it's so competitive.
100%.
So I think for me, One More Time for You is like a 9 out of 10 song. I think it's missing out.
I mean, yeah, you're not like shading it. It just tough, happens to fall in that place.
So what are you getting? What's your bottom spot?
For me, I'm
Halftime.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Halftime again. Just I can't. It is a little. Sometimes I skip it. The instrumental just to me is not enough for me to just be like to stay there for the whole track. So, otherwise, again, fantastic song. I would still say like a 9 out of 10 song. Just not quite for me. What's your second from bottom, brothers?
Second from bottom. This is where things start to get tough because I've got a few options, but I'm gonna go with Represent personally.
Okay.
And I do actually quite like Represent. It's definitely grown on me leading up to this video. I listened to it just before filming, and I just thought it was quite fire. But I think I am happy with Represent being here. I think I'm gonna. There's some that I know are top 3. Then there's some I know that are safe.
Yeah.
And then I'm kind of got a few in the mix. And unfortunately, it's gonna get to a point where a song I do think is quite good and I do quite like, and it's arguably a 10 out of 10 rap song, is gonna be in the bottom 3.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, discounting the Genesis, you got 9 tracks.
Yeah.
A third of this track list in the bottom 3.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. We're not really counting Genesis here. We're gonna do out of 9. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna agree with you. I'm also gonna go for my second from bottom and go Represent.
Okay.
The same thing. I just feel like it's a bit overhyped. Not to slate it. It's not a bad song. It just didn't live up to
fully agree.
standards. Maybe it was my mistake going through and looking at like different posts to see what people thought about it.
The rankings,
But yeah, that's just how I feel, man. Can't really say
fully
much more.
agree. Okay, so third from bottom, I'm gonna just say my thought process and then hand over to you because I think I still need a bit of thinking. But
Okay.
I think there's a couple of songs that you guys are gonna know are safe, just because it's the album. There's certain songs here that are safe, and then I'm sort of left with 2 songs I could put in bottom 3.
Okay. What are those 2 songs?
I'm sort of torn right now between Memory Lane
No.
and probably Halftime.
No.
That's the trouble. And maybe I'd probably put like The World Is Yours in that conversation as well.
Memory Lane and The World Is Yours shouldn't be anywhere near the bottom, bro.
Yeah,
they shouldn't be anywhere near the bottom.
There's only 3 spots, and I think like The World Is Yours.
Yeah, there's 3 spots to fill that. There's 3 songs to fill those slots with, bro. You got. Okay, I don't know if I want to spoil this, but you got One Love. Say for you, because you like Halftime, right? So we're gonna go with One Love, Represent, and One Time for Your Head. One Time for Your Minds.
But I like One Love as well, and I want to put One Love top 3 as well.
But you can't put.
I want to put that in my conversation. So, I think for me, where am I put realistically? Where am I putting The World Is Yours on this album? Like 6th or 7th, maybe. I think. So
that can't be right, man.
No, honestly,
that can't be right.
I think it's a great song, but I think it.
The World Is Yours. What?
Yeah,
bro. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
For my
So
bottom.
what are you putting in there?
For my bottom 3 pick, I'm gonna go with Memory Lane, and I don't like putting a 10 out of 10 song in the bottom 3, but I do really like Halftime. I do like The World Is Yours, and I think everything else I haven't already said is comfortably above it or in the top 3.
Bro.
So I'm gonna have to go with Memory Lane, and that sucks because I really like it, and I think it's a great instrumental, and it's a really deep song, and it's really tough, but I'm gonna go for it.
One Love over Memory Lane. This is crazy.
I'm pretty happy with One Love over Memory Lane. Let us know in the comments, guys.
Right,
but I think I'm good with that.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess for me as well goes to mine. Mine's gonna be One Love. Again, I just feel like it's not because it's bad, just because it falls under the songs previously from it. So
It's the trouble. I want to be pissed at you, but I get it because it's so hard. You know, I just have to deal with it myself. It's so tough trying to rationalize a tiny little thing that you're going through the song. I think is there a tiny bit that just about thinks it's better. I don't know. Anyway,
it comes down to personality at that point. At that point, it's completely pure opinion, right?
So preference, isn't it? Okay, top 3 then.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going for? Number 3 spot.
Number 3 spot for me, I'm probably gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with New York City Mine.
You're saying mine 3.
Yeah.
Okay, that's gonna piss some people off.
It will,
Which is crazy.
Again, it doesn't slate it at all. This is still like fully agree with people saying it's the best or one of the best rap songs of all time. It's again just for me personally, I'd say the beat is just it's less characterful. You know, it has less character compared to the next 2 songs which I'm going to be putting up there.
Like how many 10 out of 10 songs are on this album, real quick? Do you think? Out of 10.
Out of 9, maybe like 7.
I was going to say I'd have gone 7 as well.
Yeah.
So you're ultimately whatever's third.
So I would put all these songs, whatever we say now, all these songs are on the same par. It's just like whatever sounds the best, you know.
So number 3 for me, I think I'm sort of battling. I know what my top 2 are going to be. I'm battling between It Ain't Hard to Tell and One Love.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with It Ain't Hard to Tell. It's tough to leave One Love out because I think it's great. I think something about It Ain't Hard to Tell, it just hits a little bit. Yeah. It hits really hard.
It's really
good. I really like it.
It's really good.
One Love, I'm still not happy I'm missing out, but something's got to miss out. And right now, at this moment, about an hour ago, I probably would have said One Love. Maybe in an hour, I'll say One Love again. But I think right now, as I'm filming, It Ain't Hard to Tell for me is my number 3 pick.
Completely fair, man. Completely fair. For number 2, myself, I'm going to go with Life's a Bitch.
Life's a Bitch, number 2.
It's beautiful concept.
Amazing
and just,
song.
bro, the energy these guys have on here and the way they work off each other is amazing. But still not as good as what I'm going to go for number 1, which we're going to find out in a moment. But before, what is your number 2 pick?
My number 2 is NY State of Mind. So I think it's interesting that none of us put NY State of Mind number 1.
Yeah.
It's probably the greatest rap song of all time, you know, based on influence and overall performance. I get it. It's exceptional.
Yep.
It's probably my most played on the album. along with Halftime.
So interesting. So what will be your number one, which is taking over the most played song?
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out in a minute, but no, I just think that West Day one's just amazing. It's just amazing.
It is. It's fantastic.
It's just
fantastic
piece of
music.
It's great.
100%.
All right, number one. What are you picking?
Number one, my favorite song on this album is going to be "The World Is Yours." I
World
mean,
Is Yours. Can't argue with it,
you
man.
can't beat it, man. It's a beautiful, jazzy, uplifting beat, along with some crazy bars, just consistently throughout the whole thing. Amazing hook. Probably my favorite hook on the whole thing. It's just. Is a great song.
Can't knock
for
the
me.
pick
It's
at
a
all,
great
man.
song.
To be honest, and speaking of jazzy, my number one is "Life's a Bitch."
There you go. Fair enough.
I think, AZ absolutely just goes crazy.
It's another
man.
great song.
No, it's
Another great
it's
song.
exceptional. I love Life's
There's so much
a Bitch.
great work with this
so
album, man.
replayable, man. I mean, for an album as well, generally with something that's a great piece of music, sometimes it's not the most replayable. You have to really sit and listen to it. I mean, it's just 39 minutes long and it's 9 songs.
It's short,
with
man.
a great little intro. It's just it's so easy to play through all this album doing anything whatsoever. You can sit down and do 39 minutes of work. And just put
Easy,
it on
easy.
easily. It's a great way of focus. It's exceptional. So, overall rating for this album then, what are we going to give it? Where are we going with this?
I like being stingy, and I don't. I mean, 100%. I would love to give this album a 10 out of 10. But again, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that there's only one album which deserves a 10 out of 10, because this, in no question, is one of those albums which is a contender for a 10 out of 10. And I'm gonna give it a 10 because it is just a complete masterpiece, a complete script and blueprint on how to make 100%. Great music. And it's been a pillar and I don't know a case study for loads of rappers to come. So that's I'm definitely.
It's excellent, and just to add to that a little bit, guys, just a conversation we had around when we first started reviewing albums around giving 10s. I think I said something on the lines of, by the time we've finished all of our album reviews in however many years' time, I want to have given out maybe 5 or 6 10s. Yep. I want it to be prestigious. I want for an album to be perfect. Not even have a thing to dink it down from a 10. Has to be special. I don't think it's even a conversation that this is a 10 out of 10 album.
Definitely not.
That being said,
definitely not.
It's just so easily a perfect album. It's just stunning. It's just a phenomenal piece of work. Yep. It never disappoints. There's a song for every different mood. You can go hype, you can go chill, you can go emotional, you can go everything on this one.
100%.
And it is, it's amazing. And it's such a landmark in hip hop history. From when this album released, that's when proper modern hip hop starts, and 100%. That's when we start to progress a little bit more.